Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. This is Lynette, and this is It's About Time. My voice sounds a little scratchy, but we are determined to push through. I'm sure at some point Jesus might have had a cold. Maybe he didn't, but the disciples might have had one, some sort of infirmity. And so here I am, and I'm going to push through. So I pray my strength, and I pray that you're praying for me as well. Well, tonight we're on Exodus 4 through 6. We have gotten with our boy Moses. He has grown up. We've gone from um, our boy Abraham and Isaac, Jacob, Joseph, and now our boy Moses. And so let's start. It starts off with then Moses said, "What if they will not believe me or listen to what I say?" So he's been given a charge by the Lord of what to say, of what to do, with as and what his charge is, what his responsibility is as far as it relates to the children of Israel. So he asked the Lord, "What if they will not believe me or listen to what I say? For they may say the Lord has not appeared to you." The Lord said to him, "What is that in your hand?" Because the Lord gets exasperated. Good evening, Sister Trudy. And he said, "A staff." Then he said, "Throw it on the ground." So he threw it on the ground, and it became a serpent. And Moses fled from it. He was scared of the power. But the Lord said to Moses, "Stretch out your hand and grasp it by its tail." We have to learn how to handle power. Power is not um, a natural thing. Sometimes we go power crazy. That's why people get money from win the lotto, don't know how to handle that much spending power. We have to be trained. The Lord is training him how to handle power. It's important. Anyway, so he stretches out his hand and caught it and became a staff in his hand, that they may believe that the Lord, the God of their fathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, the God of Jacob, has appeared to you. So there has to be signs and wonders in order for them to believe, because um, a lot has transpired in this time. They've gone from being favored because of Joseph to going through 400 years of slavery. So these people, the not only the Israelites, but not only the Egyptians, but the leaders don't have any idea who our boy Moses is. I mean, and Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. They even though they heard about him, they know Moses because he used to be with them. He as a prince of Egypt, basically, but they don't have any idea um, ab- about what the Lord can do, because He has not answered their prayers thus far. They've been praying for many years, and I'm sure the first generations had prayed, and they've gone through many generations, and still no. Even though the prayer looked like it was a no, the answer looked like it was a no. So they felt like they were not being heard by God. So a miraculous signs and wonders were going to be necessary in order for this to um, be it's gonna need some new stuff. Gonna need some what do you call it? Some bells and whistles in order to make this thing rock. Anyway, having said that, then he said, the Lord furthermore said to him, "Now put your hand to your bosom." So he put his hand into his bosom, and when he took it out, behold, his hand was leprous like snow. So he was up here, put it in there, and it came out white as snow. And I'm sure Moses could not believe it. So he put his hand um, into his hand again, because the Lord told him to do that, and it was restored like the rest of his flesh. He said, "If they will not believe you or heed the witness of the first sign, they may believe the witness of the last sign." So the first sign was the staff turned into a snake or a serpent, and the second one was the leprous hand. The Lord's giving him some signs. I'm giving you some bells and whistles, so they can see that I'm with you. You have power. You have necessarily tricks. You have power. These things can take you some places. So anyway, having said that, he says, but if they will not believe even these two signs or heed what you say, so first you say something, then you give them the two signs. He says, then I'll give you this other sign. You shall take some water from the Nile and pour it on the dry ground, and the water which you take from the Nile will become blood on the dry ground. My God, it's not going to become red like what I have on. It's going to become blood. You know, blood is thick. There's a different consistency from blood than it is water. And so here we are. This is another sign. So he's giving him three signs and a word. The Lord likes those threes, right? Then Moses said to the Lord, please, Lord, I have never been eloquent. So now Moses is starting to offer excuses. Unlike our boy Abraham, who didn't have a model before him, Abraham, whatever the Lord said do, he did it. Moses is one of these New Jack followers, right? New Jack recruits. Although the Lord had purposely chosen him and made sure he was positioned where he could deliver his people, he still was New Jack, and he was not going to be easily submitted, unfortunately. He says, please, Lord, I've never been eloquent, neither recently nor in times past. He's like, I've never been the speaker. Nor since you have spoken to your servant, for I'm slow of speech and slow of tongue. The Lord said to him, who has made man's mouth? You know, I'm like, the Lord's like, really though? Or who had made him mute or deaf or seen or blind? Is it not I, the Lord? Now then go, and even I, will be with your mouth and teach you what you want to say. But he said, please, Lord, now send the message by whomever you will. So, you know, the Lord was done. And it says, then the anger of the Lord burned against Moses. Please do not get to the point where you're giving the Lord excuses as to why you cannot do his will. You say you're submitted, be submitted. Do not give the Lord excuses like this where his anger is burning against you. He says, is there not your brother Aaron the Levite? I know that he speaks fluently. And moreover, behold, he is coming out to meet you. When he sees you, he will be glad in his heart. He says, you want to speak to him and put the words in his mouth. And I will be with your mouth and his mouth. And I will teach you what you are to do. The Lord was exasperated by this time. I'm going to teach you and all the other stuff. I'm going to teach you and Aaron. Now, since you can't speak, you have no confidence. You don't have, not in yourself, but you don't have confidence in me. That's where we have to get to the point where we have confidence in God. When God gives you a charge, it's not about your ability. God shows up in your inability, in your weakness. He is his power and his glory and his might is shown. It's not done because we're so eloquent. We're the obvious choice. Many people have said that the great speaker, the voice of Darth Vader and Mufasa, better known as James Earl Jones, was a known stutterer, and for many, many years. And for this to be, Moses' excuse is crazy. So I'm just saying, this man learned to speak and became known for his speech, and before he was known for his lack of speech. So God can turn it around. Anyway, so Moses returned and went to Jethro, his father-in-law, and broke the ties with him. He asked for his permission because he was living with his father-in-law all these years. Moses had been in the wilderness for 40 years. He had left from being a prince, and he, I'm off. And so the Lord said to Moses in Midian, go back to Egypt, for all the men who were seeking your life are dead. So Moses had a price on his head, and people were wanting him dead. So, it's been a while. They're dead now. You can go back to where you came from. So Moses took his wife and his sons and mounted them on a donkey. But then the Lord said to Moses, when you go back to Egypt, see that you perform before Pharaoh the wonders which I have put in your power. So Moses, you still got to do what I told you to do. Stay on course. And these, Then you shall say to the Pharaoh, say to Pharaoh, thus says the Lord, Israel is my son, my firstborn. So I said to you, let my son go that he may serve me. And he's talking about the people now, the people, not Israel, the man whose name he changed. The people are his son, my firstborn. So I said to you, let my son go that he may serve me. But you have refused to let him go. Behold, I will kill your son, your firstborn. And did you know that was the last sign, as you will see? That's one of the last signs. Now, and it says, now it came about at the lodging place on the way that the Lord met him and sought to put him to death. The Lord was done with Moses by this time. He was exasperated. But then Zipporah, his wife, took a flint and cut off her son's foreskin and threw it at Moses' feet. And she said, you are indeed a bridegroom of blood to me. She's mad because she has to cut her son. This is not her custom. She is not an Israelite. And this is not their custom. She is not from the 12 tribes. So she knows nothing about this, but she's doing this because this man is an Israelite, and this is what you do to the sons. And then Moses told, and so the Lord didn't kill him and let it go because she said, you are a bridegroom of blood because of the circumcision. And the Lord remembered that. Now the Lord said to Aaron, go to meet Moses in the wilderness. And the Lord, and he did and Aaron went to go do that. And then Moses and Aaron went and assembled all the elders of the sons of Israel. And Aaron spoke all the words which the Lord said to Moses. And it was a good thing, right? I'm way excited. So the people believed, and when they heard that the Lord was concerned about the sons of Israel and that he had seen their affliction, they bowed low in worship. Aaron did exactly what the Lord said, and they bowed and worshiped. The people were ready then. The people were ready. Now then, here we go, chapter 5. And afterward, Moses and Aaron came and said to Pharaoh, thus says the Lord, the God of Israel, let my people go, that they may celebrate a feast to me in the wilderness. They were going to worship. But Pharaoh said, who is the Lord, that I should obey his voice to let Israel go? I do not know the Lord. I listened to this about 17 times. I'm like, how? I mean, that's just miraculous to me that anybody can say, I do not know the Lord. But there are many people who do not have a relationship with the Lord. And it's such a responsibility for us to go out and tell people about the Lord. There shouldn't be anybody around us that can say, I do not know the Lord. They can say they have no relationship with him or whatever, but at least they heard about this. He said, who is the Lord, that I shall obey his voice and let Israel go? I do not know the Lord. And besides, I will not let Israel go. He wasn't letting them go. It wasn't happening. He said, the God of the Hebrews and they said, the God of the Hebrews has met with us. Please let us go a 3 days journey into the wilderness that we may sacrifice to the Lord our God. He didn't ask them to let them go permanently. He asked them to let them go to go worship him. He didn't, there was no release them so that they won't be enslaved anymore. None of that was said. He's saying no for 3 days. They're not going nowhere. Okay, though. So, but the king of Egypt said to them, Moses and Aaron, why do you draw the people away from their work? Go get back to your labors. Again, Pharaoh said, look, the people of the land are now many, and you would have them cease from their labors. So the same day, Pharaoh commanded the taskmasters over the people and their foremen, saying, you are no longer to give the people straw to make brick as previously. Let them go and gather straw for themselves. So whenever you're trying to move from one station to another, and the God's given you something, he's told you, he's given you a charge, and he's told you what the vision was, and it might get bad before it might get worse before it gets better. It's not always a smooth path, and we should not expect it. This is clearly what's letting us know here. As you know, the forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, never got to see their possession of Canaan. But and they went through. Um, well, at least Isaac went. I mean, just sorry, Jacob went through a famine. And the whole little bit. Sometimes it doesn't always manifest itself right away. But when God gives you something, it will take some time. And just like these people are going to have to make brick without straw. Um, so and it became a big issue. So the foremen, and the more of the foremen of the sons, I'm skipping down, of Israel, whom Pharaoh's taskmasters had set over them, were beaten and were asked. So these people were getting beaten, and it was becoming more and more cruel for them. Why have you not completed your required amount either yesterday or today in making brick as previously? Because they couldn't make it without straw. They were asking the impossible. Because he asked for 3 days off, they were asking the impossible. Then the foremen of the sons of Israel came and cried out to Pharaoh, saying, why do you deal this way with your servants? There is no straw given to your servants. Yet they keep saying to us, make bricks. And behold, your servants are being beaten. But it is the fault of your own people. But he said, you are lazy. Now, how about that? You are lazy, very lazy. Therefore, you say, let us go and sacrifice to the Lord. So go now and work, for you will be given no straw, yet you must deliver the quota of bricks. The foremen of the sons of Israel saw that they were in trouble. They went to go complain to, and they had, I thought they had a formal complaint, didn't know it was their own people. And so when they left Pharaoh's presence, they met Moses and Aaron as they were waiting for them. They were waiting for them. They met them. And they said to them, may the Lord look upon you and judge you, for you have made us odious in Pharaoh's sight. In other words, you made us a eyesore. You made him angry with us, and in the sight of his servants, to put a sword in their hand to kill us. Then Moses returned to the Lord, said, oh Lord, why have you brought harm to this people? Well, he's already told them he's going to show them more than one sign. So Moses should have thought about it. I'm just saying, why did you ever send me? Ever since I came to Pharaoh to speak in your name, he has done harm to his people, and you have not delivered your people at all. This is what Moses is telling the Lord. That's how chapter 6 ends. It's gotten worse. They've gotten more work, they've gotten beaten, and now Moses and Aaron are being blamed for this extra labor and this impossible or seemingly impossible situation. Then the Lord said to Moses, now you shall see what I will do to Pharaoh, for under compulsion he will let them go, and under compulsion he will drive them out of his land. See, this is bigger than the 3 days sacrifice. This is driving them out of his land. He's not gonna do it unless he's compelled to do it. He has to feel it on the inside. He has to want them out. They have to be a problem for him in order for them to go. And there's going to be a time when what God's giving you to do is going to make your enemies or the people that are holding you down uncomfortable. And you've been trying to move from place to place, and eventually you'll be able to go. But the people that are around you will feel compelled to let you go. You might have been asking for release, and eventually they're gonna feel compelled. And so don't dismay. All right. He says, I am the Lord. He says, we're talking to Moses again. I'm the Lord. He said, and I appeared to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob as God Almighty. But by my name, the Lord, he said, by my name, Lord, I did not make myself known to them by my name. I also established my covenant with them to give them the land of Canaan, the land in which they sojourned. Furthermore, I've heard the groaning of the sons of Israel because of the Egyptians are holding them in bondage. And I have remembered my covenant, which is wonderful. Remind God of what he told you to do and what he said he was going to do. Say, therefore, to the sons of Israel. So you can tell them to go back to the people, even after they're upset with them and told them that they want the Lord to judge them. I am the Lord, and I will bring you out of under the burdens of the Egyptians, and I will deliver you from their bondage. Now, think about the fact that these people asked for deliverance. They had been praying for a deliverer all this time. And then somebody's come and said they were going to do it. And the way that is happening, they're not prepared for. Freedom costs. Freedom costs. We've, in recent history, I mean, as far as we're concerned in America, it cost a lot of lives for it was a war in order for there to be the African Americans to stop being enslaved. The freedom costs, and these people are having to pay it, unfortunately. He said, I will also redeem you with an outstretched arm with great judgments. Then I will take you for my people, and I will be your God. And you shall know that I am the Lord your God, who brought you out from under the burdens of the Egyptians. I will bring you out, bring you to the land which I swore to give to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and I will give it to you for a possession. So you will own it. It will be yours. You won't just live there. Your fathers just lived there. You will own it. It's a possession. The Lord does it big. He says, I am the Lord. So Moses spoke thus to the sons of Israel, but they did not listen to Moses on account of their despondency and cruel bondage. So because they were under, they did not want to listen. Now the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, go tell Pharaoh, king of Egypt, to let the sons of Israel go out of his land. But Moses spoke before the Lord, saying, behold, the sons of Israel have not listened to me. How then will Pharaoh listen to me? For I am unskilled in speech. Then the Lord spoke to Moses and to Aaron, and gave them a charge to the sons of Israel and to Pharaoh the king, and to bring the sons of Israel out of the land of Egypt. So they were leaving now. We've moved. And so here, this is a listing of all the heads of Israel. And so I'm the heads of their fathers' households. The sons of Reuben, Israel's firstborn, Hanok, Palu, Hezron, and Carmi, right? This is great. These are the families of Reuben. The sons of Simeon, Jemiel, Jamin, Ohad, Jakin, Zohar, Shaul, the son of a Canaanite woman. And these are the families of Simeon. These are the names of the sons of Levi. And they go on, but I'm going to read Levi's family, and then I'm going to stop. Because Moses comes from the family of and the sons of Levi. Gershon and Kohath and Merari. The length of Levi's life was 137 years. The sons of Gershon, Libni, and Shimei, according to their families. The sons of Kohath, Amri, and Izhar, and Hebron, and Uziel. And the length of Kohath's life was 133 years. The sons of Merari, Mali, and Mushi. These are the families of Levites according to the generations. Aaron married his father's sister Jochebed, and she bore him Aaron and Moses. And the length of Amram's life was 137 years. So here we are. This is how we get to Moses. And the other sons go up until verse 27. Now it came about on the day when the Lord spoke to Moses in the land of Egypt, that the Lord spoke to him. So we know where Moses came from. He's a Levite. And so he and Aaron both. These are priests. And they're the ones that are talking to speaking on behalf of the Lord. Moses seems to be one of his first prophets, right? We know that Noah did his prophesying. I'm telling them that the rain was coming, the flood's coming, but Moses is in his generation. He's also a prophet. And it came about on the day when the Lord spoke to Moses in the land of Egypt, that the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, I am the Lord. Speak to Pharaoh, king of Egypt, all that I speak to you. But Moses said before the Lord, behold, I am unskilled in speech. How then will Pharaoh listen to me? He's still going in with this foolishness. He is still ending with that he is a problem, and he's slow of speech. Please do not do that to the Lord. The Lord knows all that you have. The Lord made you, and he knows what you're capable of. And it's really important that we respect him like we know. Submit. We'll see that he eventually does, but it's really important that we get this done. We get submitted heart, and we're not so scared, and we're not afraid of being rejected. It is not us that's being rejected. It is the Lord. And the Lord can handle the rejection. Don't you worry about your ego. You let God worry about what his word being done and his will being done. God can handle it. You just act as a vessel. Be submitted. Have a great rest of your day. This ends chapter 6. And I pray that you tune in tomorrow for chapters 7, and you'll see what the rest of them are tomorrow. You have a blessed day. Thank you. It's about time. Please join us or continue to join us for this chronological Bible study. Have a great 1 year in the Bible chronologically. It's about time. Bye-bye.